Hey YouTube, it's Urgo, and I just got back from the movie Brandon. I go see a lot of movies, and I don't really usually make movie reviews, but this one just really spoke to me, and I just had to make a video about this. Now, if you are watching this, be forewarned that there's probably going to be spoilers in here, because I really want to talk more about the message of the movie rather than just do a review of the trailer or movie itself. So yeah, if you really want to see it, you might not want to watch this. Now, alright, anyway, what the movie is basically about, well, before we talk about what it's about, what I thought it was going to be about based on the trailers is the sci-fi movie where, well, in the trailer they show like these business people with like stuff coming out of their heads and questions like how far do you want to go, and yeah. So it definitely wasn't anything like I expected there. It wasn't sci-fi really. What it really was is basically a satire on the whole marketing industry, and sort of almost like a documentary type of a thing also, because they teach you some marketing techniques in the movie itself. We basically follow the life of this character who is a marketer. He goes to school, he finds out that he's actually good at marketing when he gets out of school and has a job. It takes place in Russia right after the fall of the Soviet Union. So, you know, commercialism, the West is just coming into Russia, and he just really skyrockets as this like superstar marketing genius guy. Alright, so also we follow the story of this marketing guru who gets hired by what turns out to be the fast food industries, because if you know, in America, fast food is quickly declining right now. Maybe, I don't know for sure, I don't have the facts, but in general, you know, the health movement, people are wanting to eat healthier, and as a result, you know, that's what they take as sort of, we need to fix this, us the fast food companies, we need to fix this. So they hire this evil marketing genius guy who basically poses the question to these marketing people, or the executives at all these fast food companies, how far do you want to go? And they even basically say that they want to go past the lines of the law. So that's what we sort of see happening. Now, in general, I won't go into all the details, but they sort of follow how negative marketing, and almost like Inception, if you guys, you know, that movie from last year where you plant a thought on not the top layer but like underneath on like the second or even third layer, and that thought takes root. That's really what this here, the story is about. So to get people to eat more fast food, what these fast food companies do is, you've seen those reality shows where people try to lose weight real quick. So what they do is they plant the thought that getting healthy can actually kill you, and you should just be happy as yourself. And they show in this movie how that really takes effect, and it destroys the life of this marketing guy, because they end up killing someone or putting someone in a coma as a result to do this, to get people to, you know, eat fast food. So he goes into seclusion in the remote part of Russia, where again this is where it's taking place, and he he basically, we'll just say, goes insane. He ends up sacrificing a red calf and start seeing things. That's what the thing I was talking about with, you know, the stuff coming out of their heads. It's him actually being able to see things now, which apparently they make reference that this is like one of the most ancient spells or whatever that's been practiced over many years, and that's why he's able to do this, and people before him did this as well, and blah blah blah. Anyway, that of the whole movie, that sequence there, it kind of was slow and drawn out. That would be really the only negative thing I can say about the movie. After that, what we get into is sort of the thing that's sort of happening these days right now. So he gets back into Moscow, and now he's seeing these things, which what it turns out to be is he's seeing people's desires for brands. And they don't really talk about how he's doing this, but he ends up finding a way to sort of go after brands and have them like start attacking each other, just from this whole negative inception type advertising thing. And I mean, they even show some ads. It's like there's some pretty funny ones. So the way that they destroyed the fast food industry was this vegetarian company came up with this meat tester, and they said basically, you know, you have to bring the meat tester to test every single slab of meat you eat. So, you know, hamburgers or whatever, you know, to test it before you eat it. And just that advertising there is just giving the hint of it being unsafe. And then they got even the health inspector or something like that from Russia to eat a cheeseburger live on air. And then they didn't really say how, but he died like a week after or something like that. And it just makes, you know, the connection there that it's unsafe. And they start doing this with all these other brands also. And basically it comes into this whole brand warfare where, you know, they have all these funny names for companies, but you know, it's like Microsoft and Apple attacking each other, and Starbucks is in there, and just companies are attacking left and right. And that's really kind of the world that we're in right now. And I'll get to that in a second, but what it comes down to at the end is they place a ban on advertising for, it was like 146 countries or something like that. Place a ban on all advertising. And that, I just think is an interesting thought. If you're watching this video on YouTube, you probably saw an ad at the beginning of the video here, as well as pretty much every video on YouTube these days. So you know just how much advertising plays into everyone's lives. And it's interesting because this ban on advertising actually has been tried before. I think it's São Paulo in Brazil. They actually have a ban on advertising. There's been no ads since something like 2006, at least, you know, out in the city itself. I'm sure if you get a newspaper, there's probably ads in that. But yeah, it's an interesting thought. What would our world be like if you go into like Times Square and there's no advertising? The stores are there, but no big billboards, no bright, it's an interesting thought. Now, jumping back to why the brands attacking each other, I think is an interesting thought also, and why I'm saying that this is sort of something that's happening now. It reminds me of a Google Plus story. I'm going to call it a story. It was posted as a sort of a fact, but I really think is more of a story that this guy made up. But basically, you know, Apple just won like $1 billion or something from Samsung because, you know, the lawsuit was basically that Samsung copied Apple products. And so what this guy wrote in the blog post there was that it was an overheard conversation at Starbucks. He was waiting in line for his coffee or something like that, and people saw the newspaper that was at the store there and was like, oh, Samsung's the same thing as Apple since this ban, that's what this means? So you mean I can get Samsung products for a whole lot less than Apple products? And it's the same thing? So and there was like 4 people that talked about that in different ways in that post. I'll link you guys in the description below here. And you know, I don't know for sure that this is really going to affect anything. I don't know if consumers, everyday consumers, I'm so into tech that, you know, I'm kind of detached from this, but if everyday consumers reading this would think that at all. But I just think it's an interesting thought, and it really dove at what this whole movie was about here. That, you know, planting the thought a couple levels below, like Inception, just really can change the world. And yeah. Anyway, guys, that's my long ramble about the movie Branded. It's in limited release actually right now, so I don't even know if you're going to be able to find it. I think I looked online, it was in like 300 something movie theaters nationwide. So it was playing in my area, and if it is playing in your area, I do recommend checking it out. Great movie. I'm sure it'll eventually get a wider release, or at least a DVD type of a deal. But yeah. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting, liking, subscribing. Leave me some of your thoughts in the comments actually, if you've ever thought of anything like this and what you think a world actually would be like with no advertising. Alright guys, take care.